Welcome to the channel, talking all things Zelda. Very quickly, before I dive into today's video, I've nearly finished a monster theory video that I've been working on for a while, so please subscribe, because I promise you're not going to want to miss that. A lot of effort has gone into the production. Right, we're splitting into 3 parts today, so there's something interesting for all of you. Part 1 will focus on Zelda content we're going to see in the final year of Switch. Part 2 is all about Switch 2 and why we should be very excited about the next iteration of mainline Zelda. Part 3 I've been thinking about a lot recently. It's what 2025 and 2026 has in store for Zelda fans in the early years of the Switch 2 cycle. Okay, here we go. Part 1. The Switch is clearly in the final year of its life as Nintendo's flagship console, and their first-party team efforts are therefore obviously and primarily focused on Switch 2, meaning that the games they want to put out for the current Switch during 2024 will likely be lower effort releases. Look at Mario vs Donkey Kong for example, which I'm looking forward to playing by the way, but it is certainly a game that is at the lower end of the production scale. And Thousand Year Door, while great, is a remake using Origami King's engine by the looks of it, which again is absolutely fine. So what does this mean for the Zelda series as one of Nintendo's main IPs? To answer that, we need to look towards the inevitable incoming Nintendo Direct. And I think we can use a past example here to help get an idea of what Nintendo may have up its sleeves for Zelda fans, specifically by looking at the Twilight Princess HD release date of 4th of March 2016, almost a year to the day before the release of the Switch. But why is this significant? Well, quite simply because it was a low-effort remaster of a popular game in the series archive. So I expect something similar will happen here, with Nintendo's principal efforts at this stage rightly centering on the Switch's successor. But here's where this gets exciting. If it is low effort thereafter, they surely have ready-made candidates waiting in the wings for this exact purpose. I'm hoping beyond hope, along with more or less the entire Zelda community, that the Nintendo Direct will announce the Wind Waker and Twilight Princess combo that has been heavily rumoured. Though, I appreciate there hasn't really been any substantive evidence to suggest either of these are incoming, but these are most likely to be their minimal effort 2024 ports, probably outsourced to another developer. This combo is enough to keep the Zelda community happy in the year ahead, but what comes next? This leads me into part 2. What is next for the Zelda series? The leap between Skyward Sword and Breath of the Wild was monumental. Night and day, worlds apart, similar in nature to the jump from the Super Nintendo to N64. It was that big. This game will likely release in 2029 or 2030, about 12 years after Breath of the Wild, so the leap is going to be stratospheric. Zelda on Switch 2, therefore, is a far more exciting prospect than Tears of the Kingdom could ever have been. This will be a new generation of mainline Zelda. Granted, Tears of the Kingdom built upon Breath of the Wild in so many ways and was an incredible game for the most part, with the current iterations of both Zelda and Link's characters yet again being fantastic. But the game didn't feel as fresh as an Ocarina of Time, Wind Waker, or even its immediate predecessor, Breath of the Wild, ever did. We're going to be getting something completely fresh, a new direction, new mechanics, and probably, most importantly, an entirely new world. But how exactly do they make the game better? Well, I think if the Zelda team do pay attention to some of the criticism of Tears of the Kingdom, there are some easy fixes. At this point, they have already confirmed the intention to keep following the fully open world philosophy, even though, as always, I'll note the series has always been open world to a degree, so fine, love it or hate it, it's here to stay. but please Nintendo, make the story more linear. Tears of the Kingdom really suffered from this. Fake Zelda and watching the same sage scene 4 times was absolutely awful storytelling, which is a shame because the beginning and ending of the story were very good. And to really elevate the story to the next level, the team should build out the antagonist a bit more. Add some complexity to the main villain. This was something I was convinced was going to happen in the months leading up to Tears. Matt Mercer's Ganondorf was awesome, but there just simply was not enough of him. I'd like to see a shift away from memory storytelling in the next game to a canvas where the team can really get creative with the interplay between Link and his nemesis. Think of how out there Majora's Mask went, a complete and bold deviation from its predecessor. Clearly we're not going to see this iteration for a long time, but there is plenty to look forward to in the meantime, which brings me on to Part 3. Part 3 is very exciting because Nintendo's Zelda plans for 2025 will be huge, with Switch 2 likely releasing late this year alongside the next 3D Mario as the big flagship launch game. 2025 will see the return of a Zelda series favourite, Ocarina of Time, fully remastered and taking advantage of the Switch 2's processing power. Think of the way that Resident Evil 4 achieved this, adding in new elements but never feeling like a wholly different experience, preserving the essence of the game while providing it with a stunning makeover. We're going to see Ocarina of Time in a graphical style that is going to make the kid in me cry out with joy, along with a fully orchestrated soundtrack to enhance arguably the greatest gaming soundtrack of all time. We're on the verge in relative terms of getting our hands on another 10 out of 10 masterpiece, the timeless classic, the foundation of gaming today. I suspect 2026 will see remastered versions of the Oracle's games in an updated style of the one used in the Link's Awakening remaster, but I'd prefer to see another new entry in the top-down series with an evolution akin to A Link Between Worlds, building on the mechanics that made this series into the powerhouse it is today. Link has gone to the past and between worlds. Maybe Link could go to the future, perhaps not something as on the nose as that, but Mario Wonder was able to deliver a fresh coat of paint on the classic formula of the Mario series. So why couldn't we get something similar in the Zelda universe? Truly exciting times ahead. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and get yourself subscribed if you've enjoyed this today, as my next video will be a belter. Thanks, have a good one, and catch you next time.